Hello, everyone. We are back. Welcome to a new episode of Less Best Hope for Conversation, where three friends talk about Babylon 5 and other stuff. I am one of your hosts, Jesse Jackson. Joining me is Lou
Hello, everyone.
and Karen.
Hi, hi.
And we are taking a break from season 4 to talk about Third Space, which was one of the TNT movies that when Babylon 5 moved from the independent network to TNT, they gave them monies to make certain movies. And Third Space, among everyone's thought, is this happens chronologically in this series about this time. So we thought we'd stop, talk about it, and then next week we'll get back to our next episode. I had no memory of Third Space, watched it, went, I see now why I have no memory, but we need to check it off the list. With that caveat, quick thoughts, Karen.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was okay. I didn't have any qualms about it. I watched it and got through it without, again, my whole, whether I like something or not is whether I pick up my phone and play solitaire while I'm watching it. I did
Yeah.
not feel like I had to play solitaire. And I thought that the special effects were good. The fighting scenes were good, but yeah, it's an episode that's a little longer.
Yeah,
Was my thought.
absolutely. Lou, how about you?
Yeah, like what Karen said, this is a just an episode of a TV show where there's no skin in the game for any of the characters beyond the, oh, we've got to save the universe kind of storyline. There was no emotional investment, so you just watch it on a technical perspective, and I thought the special effects were pretty decent, especially the spacewalking stuff with John. I thought that was pretty cool. And I did watch the little featurette that was on the DVD and where JMS talked about the fact that he wanted to do a straight up horror episode, and it's pretty tame
Mm-hmm.
on the
Yeah.
horrific aspect. He was trying to tap into H.P. Lovecraft with some of the creature designs and that, but yeah, it was okay. And I gotta say it,
No
where the hell was
Garibaldi.
Garibaldi? He didn't even get cast listing credits on this
Nope.
episode. Though he did get a mention at the
They
very end of the
mentioned
episode.
him.
I was going, and I thought
Yes.
to myself,
Yeah.
why would Sheridan even reference him? He never talks about the guy any other
Right.
time. So it was like, so I don't know, Jesse. I'm just reading too much into this, but I just don't think that JMS and the actor just didn't get along too much, regardless of what he said after the series and whatnot. But it's
Yeah.
just awfully weird to me. Maybe it was an availability issue because there was no Jakar and Lando either, but
Yeah.
still, just really
My
weird.
my feeling is, and I think I remembered this, that they had only had so much money, even though they did. So they were spreading the love around so which actors could be in which movie so that everyone would get a little taste of this extra money
Okay.
to do some things. So
So
yeah,
Lanier wasn't in it. Lando, Jakar, Garibaldi.
yeah.
I think that's
Are
it,
they in the
right?
other movies?
Huh?
Are those characters in any of the other movies?
Yeah, in the
You don't have
the
to
in the
tell me which.
beginning, no, in the beginning has more of them on,
Hmm.
especially Jakar and Londo have pretty big parts
Okay.
in the beginning. That's it. I do not remember. I think, oh, the last one is River of Souls. Yeah, it's in the beginning, Third Space, River of Souls. And that I'm trying to think if we got more Garibaldi in that one. I'm not sure.
And we
Yeah, we'll
had
have to
the
look.
triumphant return of Lieutenant Corwin
Hmm.
in this
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
We haven't
Which
seen him all season.
yeah, I'm sure that this is, yeah, I'm sure that you were thinking also, right? That, okay, Carwin, we get some love, but
Right.
no Garibaldi.
Yeah.
So fair enough. All right. So let's Sheriff Belafonte plays the guest star, is the guest star, certainly a wonderful actress, was very active in a lot of TV stuff during the 80s and 90s. So I thought she was a fine character. basically the Vorlons had been doing stuff and they needed to find out stuff. That's the plot of this movie,
Yep.
right?
They wanted to touch God.
Right.
Yeah. And they talk about that as they start discussing this, you have to be careful on touching that middle rail. So I think we're going to talk about that. I think the best part of this, Zach gets a lot of time to shine. He doesn't like his new uniform. He tries to make a play for Lita, and I think those are the highlights of the episode to me. But which is sad because those have nothing to do with the plot. So yeah, Lita, by the way, as Karen talks about, Vorlons are jerks.
Yep,
and
they're the
she was
worst.
just treated poorly by them. Karen, we want to start. Let's talk about this mess of a plot with Vorlons and alien influences and hyperspace and everything. Any thoughts besides, as we talked about, it's an interesting story.
Let's talk about the guest stars in this. There's more than one.
Yeah.
Sebastian, wait. Who's that?
Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
William Sanderson. Yes,
Yeah.
He's back in this. He was in Grail in an earlier episode. Then we have, as we said before, Sherry Belafonte.
Was she wearing a wig?
I think that was her hair.
Oh, okay, because I don't know. It just seemed like a coconut shell.
It looked weird. Yeah. And we also had, let me find him, Don Swayze as the Raider in the beginning episode. And yes, you heard that right, Swayze. He's Patrick Swayze's brother. I recognized him immediately when I saw him.
It's not even listed in the credits.
He's on the wiki for it.
Not the one I'm looking at. Yeah.
So Don Swayze as Raider leader. And if you go back and watch it, just look at that scene. He looks like Patrick Swayze. They definitely had similar features. He's Patrick's older brother. So it was cool seeing them. Sherry Belafonte was always a favorite of mine when she was in things. I thought she was a very good actress. I guess she still is. And of course, she's Harry Belafonte's daughter, which is also awesome. William Sanderson, good in everything. I've never been disappointed in him. I can't argue with
my other brother Daryl.
Correct.
That's what I always think when I see him.
Me too.
Yes.
The New Heart show.
Blade Runner for me.
Yeah.
Blade Runner too, definitely. I think when I see him in a role like this, it's definitely my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl. I just
see
love
the
his Blade
voice.
Runner in him. Yeah, me too.
He's got a great voice. I don't know what it is about it, but there's just something compelling about listening to him
very distinctive.
Talk.
Yeah. I like character actors that have something that no one else has.
Yeah.
And I think all three of them were good in this. And I know there's other, like the Merchant and all the Scout number 9 and all that, but these were three actual big names or medium names, whatever you want to call it back then. And I was very pleased to see that.
And I was a big fan of Hotel. With,
with Sherry.
With James Brolin, Connie Selica, and
and she was. We mention this always because the three of us. We were adults in the 90s. I remember her from like The Love Boat and Fantasy Island and all things like that. That was where now it's like Law and Order and Castle and all that's what the character actors have been on. In the 90s, it was stuff like Fantasy Island and The Love Boat and stuff like that. She was in all of those things, definitely.
Yeah.
So it was very cool.
All right. Any thoughts, Lou, on anything else about the guest cast?
As I mentioned, Sebastian really jumped out at me, William Sanderson. So that was great. Sherry Belafonte, I recognized because, as Karen said, she was on rotation on a lot of the popular shows back in the 80s and 90s. Don Swayze, I did not recognize at all or make that connection because I couldn't see his hair. If he had a mullet, I could have made that
and it's a thing with girls too, because Patrick Swayze was a big deal for us with the Dirty Dancing.
And I also recognized Kip King, who was like the lead project manager for the IPX team. He's been in a ton of stuff too. Another character.
Oh, and Clyde Kutsatsu. I forgot to mention him too, who was one of the engineers. Clyde Kutsatsu. He was like several different characters in MASH and all kinds of stuff. He is also very prolific.
Well, maybe that's who I'm thinking of. But Kip King. Am I getting that mixed up? But her right hand man. Is that Kip
Clyde
King?
Kutsatsu.
That's okay. That's who I meant. I don't know
Yeah,
who was Leo then? No, I
it
don't
was
remember Leo in the
Leo. Kip
episode.
King. You're right.
Yeah,
Kip
but
King
who
was
was
Leo.
Leo in the episode? I
I don't
don't
know.
I don't remember. So yeah, so the some decent guest stars, and I have to say that I thought Jeff Conway was pretty good in this episode. I thought he really nailed that elevator scene because he was basically carrying both sides of the conversation because Lita was Voltronfied or whatever the heck she was hypnotized. He really had to work on his pauses and make it not seem like he was aware of the fact that she wasn't talking back to him and keep the conversation flowing. And I thought he did a really good job with that. And I guess we'll have to see if this carries on into the series. But I guess this was filmed out of order, so who knows when this happened. So I don't know if that's, or maybe this is a backstory to something that does happen in the series. Well, we'll have to see. So,
I want to add on to you real quick. That scene in the elevator was cringe for me.
oh,
But
Okay.
it's not that I thought it was bad. I agree with you, but there was a part of it that it was like, oh, my legs hurt. It's just, he essentially shot himself down
hmm
in the elevator. And that always makes me a little uncomfortable. But I thought it was acted. He did a really good job of it.
yeah,
Yeah, the whole idea because she is not responding because she's in this trance, he doesn't know that.
yeah,
So he actually answers his own questions, right? Okay, so since you haven't said anything, I guess I don't want to embarrass you. We're just going to act like this has never happened before and we won't discuss it. And we, as the audience, know she can't hear that. So I think the poignancy of that, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
subconsciously, yeah.
no, I have no interest in Zach. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I thought that was really nicely done.
It
So
was a,
my
it was a,
question, go ahead.
Yeah,
I was just quickly, it was a cool device to see into his mind.
Yeah, I
You know,
yeah.
agree.
it's very hard to get into a character's
We got a
mind on
little
TV.
glimpse.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
got a glimpse into his mind because of that.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. He said, let's not talk about it again. So I'm assuming that means he's not going to ask her again. And I would like to see that maybe that goes somewhere because I think he deserves a little something. Everybody else is getting some.
And what's sad is she had talked about she has no one who supports her. And
Mm-hmm.
he showed up with pizza a couple of episodes ago
Yep.
Yeah.
and said, yeah, hey, let's just pretend this is pepperoni. We won't, let's just make the best. And just he's trying when he took his shot. And from his mind, he struck out, though he didn't. Looking back, you're like, okay, just let it. I'm not going to say anything now. We'll come back later.
Yeah.
It would have been better. Yeah.
Or maybe,
Yeah.
are you okay?
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Yeah.
not answering me. Are you okay?
Yeah.
But I get it.
He has very low self-esteem and worry.
Correct.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we've
that was
seen
it.
that before, that he doesn't think as highly of himself as other people do. He's not sure he could step into Garibaldi's shoes, even though he's doing a good job. He downplays his valuableness to Babylon 5. And I think that shows in that elevator scene quite a lot.
I agree. I did think it's funny the scene where he's getting changed into the cool new uniforms,
And he's
and he
all
keeps
itchy.
talking about it's itchy, and there are certain fabrics that do itch,
No,
right?
for sure.
And that what a itchy fabric for one may not be an itchy fabric for another. And I love the Lanier can be very a passive aggressive jerk.
Mhm.
He's normally such the nicest guy, but at other times he can just truly be a jerk and like talking about them. And so I thought that was a really fun scene to play with. It's always interesting when you get a character that normally don't interact. For example, having Lanier and Zach interact is not something you see all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wear natural stuff like wool and cashmere and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It not only is it itchy for me, but it makes me break out. So I felt really like bonded with Zach in that moment. His whole point was it's not really the outfit, it's the fact that he doesn't feel like he belongs in it. So
Yeah, which is a really nice thing. We also got a not really nice moment between Susan and Franklin when she says, "Can I just kill a few?"
yeah.
And he's
How
like, "How
many?
many?" Yeah,
6?
yeah,
No.
yeah. Okay,
3?
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
go
I'll
for it.
just walk away.
Yeah. we do have a little bit of the stars being stars that often you would not have the captain going out and doing some of this, but because it's the star, we have them do that.
Although,
So
who would he send out to put a nuke on that device? I honestly don't think that he is willing to put someone else in that place. It's one of those things where a leader, if he is not ready to do it himself, he shouldn't send someone else. And he really takes that to heart. So for him, I think it's in character. I do worry about other people doing that. Like Garibaldi, I don't see that he has that same kind of ethos. But I think part of it is that he just loves being in the action. And we've seen that also with Susan, although I do think Susan also has that mindset of, I can't ask someone else to do something that I wouldn't do. So I'm going to go out and do it. So it's believable in that sense, to me at least.
I just don't know why he had to take the spacesuit all the way from Babylon 5 to the thing.
Right?
Why didn't he take a shuttle or something?
Exactly.
Dark
And we
Fury.
do know there was a range that you could get within a certain range of that device without.
Yeah, that was forgotten.
It was very weird. I agree. And then this is the second time that he's blown up something and go boom. At first, it was most of a planet, and now it's a jump gate device thing.
And I guess technically he blew up a Minbari ship too, didn't he?
True.
He nuked it. Yeah. So yeah,
That's true.
He likes to see things
He
go
does.
boom.
He likes to see things go boom.
he does like the things go boom. Yeah.
Yeah. He likes to make things go boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do wonder, are we going to find, and this I do not remember, I think I know, but I'm not sure, like how much other crap have the Vorlons put in Lita? Because this is a plot that they keep coming back to, that she has been, and I think it's an interesting discussion, is Kosh wasn't the best, but he is at least better than the other Vorlons that we have seen since his death. And just once again, I love the fact that Karen decided very early that maybe the Vorlons weren't the angels and the shadows the devils. Very early in this watch, you came up with that. I just don't know if I trust them.
They're the worst.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I think that Kosh had more of a taste of humanity because he interacted with Sinclair. He did also interact with Lita early on. And I do think that maybe he was softened a little bit. I do agree with you that he was the best Vorlon we saw, and he was still terrible. So I think the Vorlons were, and are we going to keep coming back to the Vorlon well and the Shadow well and all that stuff? I don't mind. That's a staple of sci-fi, is that even when the bad guys are out, you still have repercussions. Like in Star Trek The Next Generation, and I can't remember his name, but they found a Borg after the Borg was decimated, a Borg on a planet.
Yeah.
Do you know what his name was? I can't remember.
Didn't they
Our
call him,
listeners.
it was something like he or him or
It was a
pronoun that they turned into a name. I can't remember.
Yeah. But you know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
So it was
or somebody, Harry.
Right. It was an echo of the Borg
Yeah.
after the Borg. This is not anything new. I'm interested to see where they go with those races that have gone away now.
Yeah. And you guys mentioned this, but just to be official, Sheridan used nuclear mines to destroy the Black Star, Shadow City, Zahadun. Also, he used it to get the attention of Vorlons and Shadows at Carina 6 into the fire. Yes, he is not afraid of using the big guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he might enjoy it.
Yeah, I think so too.
He was a commander in war.
Yes,
so
it is.
He doesn't hesitate.
Yeah. And I do think according to behind the scenes, this was the biggest special effects budget they'd had. In fact, George Johnson, a producer, said that there was more special effects in this movie than all of season 1 combined.
Okay.
Because of the bigger budget.
I don't know that you can tell that it's that much special effects.
Yeah.
But it was good. You didn't see any masking around anything, no green screen things. It was really good for the 90s, for sure.
Yeah.
And I liked the design of the device too,
Yeah.
even though we didn't see the entire thing in one shot. And I think that was on purpose. I'm sure they built a model in one piece, but
Yeah.
it was so large that they only showed us little pieces at a time.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a good way to show how large it was
Yeah.
without saying, oh, hey, look how big it is. It's this many ships across and blah, blah, blah. They got that across to us, show, not tell kind of.
And of course, once again, we have a problem and we don't use the great machine, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think that
Yep.
is, yeah, that just is, that goes where you just end up quit mentioning that because it just goes without saying that I think if they had their way, we would forget that there was a planet down there and there was this super machine because, and I do know part of the reason is they kept having to change actors weren't
Yeah.
available.
Yeah.
And so it was pointing the fact like how would he explain a third time that the actor looks even different? And so screw it, I'm just going to give it up. As I said, I just didn't have much. I was watching this. I was like, I don't have much note. Not to give it short shift. I thought it was certainly a good hour and a half. It was fun seeing the characters, but it's one of those where like when Karen and I used to do Castle, we would go, okay, that was an episode, move on. Right?
Yep.
It just you only
That
get
was a episode period. Yeah,
yeah, I
exactly.
mean, you have to do 22 a season. They're not all going to be great and
Yeah, but it's better
yeah,
than a lot of the episodes. Not a lot. Okay. It's
yeah,
better than a few of the episodes we've seen so far. Definitely.
I agree. And I can't Sylvan and I were talking in our John Hyatt podcast where we're going through
Take a
every
drink.
John Hyatt song in alphabetical order. Yes. And we talked about we rate the songs from 1 to 5. And Sylvan brought up the fact that this may be a 2-star song, but this one line is a 5-star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that this is the Zach in the elevator elevate. I don't know if it elevates the whole rating, but if you're just doing that as a snippet, you'd go, "Oh man, that's 8 out of 10, or that's nine
Yep.
out of 10. That's really awesome." While other things are,
And
and
they're not
yeah,
wah, wah, but they're,
yeah,
hey, whatever. They're
yeah,
Yeah.
good.
As I said off the top, the problem with this episode, there's no emotional skin in the game, so you're not emotionally invested in it. I wish they would have used the artifact's power to, and again, I have to reference the original Star Trek, sort of to do like a naked time thing where it revealed some inner secret of characters that we weren't aware of. Something like that would have been much more interesting than just making them all fight each other.
Oh, that would have been great.
Then you have to say, but yeah, but if people don't see this movie, then they're not going to have this bit of background in the character. So that's the issue. I don't know what the other movies are like, but this basically it has to be a piece of Babylon 5 content that can be plucked out without anybody noticing its absence. And that makes it very difficult to make it an impactful episode. And I think GMS was trying to do it and make it into a scary episode, but I didn't find it scary at all. So that from that perspective, it didn't work to me. I think if that's what they were going for, they should have leaned into that a lot more. And it just
Yeah,
had,
they could have made that device kind of an aliens type thing,
yeah, or
right?
they could have had
Where
these
they run in.
creatures come aboard the station or
Right.
something like
Exactly.
that. So they were fighting them instead of each other. Yeah, I just think maybe they had more money, but they obviously didn't have enough to do the things that maybe would have made it really scary. And it also
oh,
just struck me as an amalgamation of a couple of various other things. Really, that artifact reminded me of V'ger from the Star Trek The Motion
Mm-hmm.
Picture, and
yeah, a little bit. I agree.
the creatures were like from Aliens. And you have Lita writing all that stuff on her wall. We've seen that in a dozen episodes on a dozen different TV shows and that. And nobody's talking to her. She seems to be in a bubble in the whole episode, except for that scene with Zach. And
She
later
was
on with
dead the whole time.
Sheridan. Yeah. So it's just in the end, it's just a piece of disposable entertainment.
Yeah, and
To do something that didn't strike the chord that they were really going for, in my opinion.
we just finished 12 Monkeys, and the scene where Jennifer is writing all over the walls is a way more impactful version of that
Yeah.
kind of thing, where
because
Lita,
it's dealing with her psyche and her
right,
mental
right.
state. With Lita, it's just
Thing.
a
Yeah.
cliche.
Like it was a memento thing to
Yeah.
me where she was reminding herself everything was bad, which she could have done with a post-it. But I don't know. Did we have post-its back then in the 90s? I think we did.
I'm
But
pretty sure we did.
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. The the one thing that I think had a lot of value in this episode, and I think it might reverberate, I'm hoping, is that they used the archaeological people to get supplies. That means that maybe they have a cushion now where they're in a better place to take on the Earth's government, where they don't have to ration stuff. They can just be a normal space station. They don't have to. So I thought that was good, even though I thought that Susan's whole job was to be there, and she ends up leaving them and just letting them bring the stuff on board alone. I thought that was weird. And why would she be that annoyed by it? It was a funny beat. I agree. But they're bringing things on board to help you. So you'd think you'd be a little more gracious about it.
Yeah.
Again,
The only moment that I found truly funny was when Sheridan was pleading with the Lynn to to have somebody pick him up because his suit had run out of fuel. And
yeah,
and he says, "That's not
yeah.
funny. That's not funny." I thought that was a nice
It's
beat. But
cute.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was,
definitely.
yeah, I thought it was. The other thing, and it's easy for me to Monday morning quarterback, but okay, you wrote this after season 4 had finished or pretty close. What's going to happen after? So it seems like you could have wrote a script that had some consequences because you already know
Right,
for example, maybe you had brought back one of the actresses who played Jakar's aides
right,
and had that emotional feedback back on her, and then she ends up being killed, right? And that way you wouldn't have to explain she's in the movie, but she's not seen later. That's because we had already filmed the rest of it. It seems like you could have, okay, I'm going to fill in this spot because I know what's coming and I can fill in between the lines to give us a little more emotional consequences. Because I think you said it perfectly, Lou. This is, and once again, I'm going to date myself, but it's Bonanza.
mm,
Little Joe falls in love. He meets a girl. They're going to get married. She dies. The next week, no one talks about that little Joe fell in love, got married, and lost a wife, or it because everything resets.
Yeah.
yep,
And this one resets.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. Any other thoughts? This is a quick one, but I thought it would be.
Yeah, there's really not that much to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the wiki summary is one of the shortest
Bloop.
ones I've seen so far.
Yeah. Usually
Yeah.
it's like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3,
Actually, yeah.
and yeah, this
This
it
is
actually says at the
three
beginning.
paragraphs.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this, it says this article is a
The
stub.
stub.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah. Exactly.
It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be anything more than that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it 6 out of 10, floating in space, waiting to be picked up.
There you go.
All
Hmm.
right. Karen?
I'm gonna go a little higher than you. I thought it was worth a 7 for the good beats in the story, for the special effects, for the acting, for the guest stars. 7 dead people that Susan has killed.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Lou?
I'll go right in the middle between the two of you, and I'll give this a 6.5 TV scale V'gers.
There you
Ah,
go.
nice. The P5 rating, they liked it a little bit higher. They gave it an
Oh
8.05
my God.
on Lurker's Guide. I
Wow.
was a little surprised to that. I
Yeah.
wonder if they were just so happy to get they were so happy to get new Babylon 5,
Sure.
right? That they were just excited to see everyone back and everyone. So I will see. This originally was aired July 19th, 1998.
This
So
is a bit
yes,
after where it is chronologically in the show
yeah,
then, because we're in
yeah,
early 1997
yeah,
for the other episodes.
yeah. So yes, this was very nice. All right. Did we, I know it's been a couple of weeks. Did we get any feedback?
I have
Uh,
one email.
and I will double check. to see if I do not think we got any others, but
Okay.
I will check. While you're looking, I will go and check email.
Sure.
Nope,
This
I
is
just one on third space. That's it.
okay. This is from Texas on the Shock, who one of our very loyal listeners. I love Texas. He never fails to give us something new. And he writes, so third space, dot. What to say about third space? I don't really have all that much, honestly. This is probably the one bit of Babylon 5 that I have watched least. The Road Home doesn't count since it just came out. The thing that stands out to me most is actually the scene with Zach and Lita. It's funny since it has Zach trying to bare his soul to the girl he likes, and also sad because she is completely out of it and doesn't hear a word of it. Other than that, it was a giant space battle against another ancient destructive force. And the Vorlons made mistakes. Yeah, trying to destroy entire planets that sided with the Shadows. At least they fessed up to this one. Why was nothing said of it earlier? If they had left something that said, here's where all of our biggest mistakes are, stay away, some idiot would actually go looking for them, because there's always that one person who thinks the rules don't apply to them. Anyway, that's all I got. This is the Texas on the Shock signing off. Until Zaveni and Valen.
Love that.
Great feedback.
Yeah,
So we're all on the same tracks.
Yes, we are. Lou, anything on the Facebook page?
We're going back to Illusions of Truth, and there's only a couple of
YouTube.
comments here.
Not Facebook.
Yes, YouTube. Yeah,
YouTube.
YouTube. Yes.
YouTube. And the FMS Dog says the movies are disposable in that they really don't fit within the series. I guess this is due to the different networks. But the next regular episode is a dream. All right. The Farscape drones were called Ds.
DRDs.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
Order
Yes.
1285. And CPMFM 2112. And please, in your next comment, tell me if that's a Rush reference. Says they say they find it too difficult to watch this episode given the current situation with right-wing propaganda networks running 24/7, 365. So I think we touched upon that a little bit in our discussion about that episode as well.
His name is Mike Finney, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Mike.
How Karen knows that, I don't know. But...
You can click on his name on YouTube and go to his YouTube page where it says his name.
Well, so... be careful, Mike. You're being stalked.
No, come on. It's there on YouTube.
Okay.
For all to see.
For all to see.
Yeah, I love the people that comment on YouTube, definitely. I did remember DRDs, but the fact that Diana was nice enough to put it in there, hey, thanks. Because how many times have I seen Farscape and I still couldn't pull that into my memory? It was so dumb.
I thought that was wonderful that we were all there. Now, what was it again? What was it again?
All three of us couldn't remember. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
And that's it.
All right. Okay. Lou, if someone wants to reach you or comment on the show, how can they?
They can come to the YouTube channel for Lou's Reviews, where you'll find these Babylon 5 episodes, as well as our JKL Media podcasts. And we're kicking off our next short series is going to be The Watchmen. That was a HBO. Damon Lindelof from Lost fame is one of the showrunners, executive producers on that. So that'll be interesting. Also, you'll find our my writers interviews, as well as the Stephen King podcast. And me, Karen, and Jesse just did a review of Holly that went up last week. So check that out. It was a fun time. And on Twitter, you can find me at Lou W. Sytsma, Sytsma.
All right. And Karen?
I am at Oliveria on the various social medias, including Twitter, which I refuse to call anything else. And there's a link in my bio to my link tree, which has my blog there, and that is alliesstuff.com.
I am at Jesse Jackson DFW on the Twitter machine, aka X. You can hear me talk music on Set Lusting Bruce and Perfectly Good Podcast, and Doctor Who on Next Stop Everywhere. And we would love if you could go to iTunes, JKL Media, and give us a review. It would mean the world to us. It is how people find us. Okay, so next week we are back into a better episode, at least in my opinion. And Texas says it's a dream, so that means something.
Yeah.
keep watching this. We are going to be discussing the HBO Max miniseries Watchmen, and I am looking forward to rediving back into that world and discussing it with two of my favorite people.
Yep, this is a
Uh,
Jesse pick.
yes, it
So
is.
we rotate on who picks what we do. I don't know if we've said
Yeah,
that before, but
yeah,
this is a Jesse pick. So
yeah.
yay.
So very nice. All right, Lou, Karen, thank you. Listeners, thank you. We'll be back next week. Until then, be safe, be kind, and we'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah, scene.